Hey there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. If it is your first time here and you do enjoy this video, I hope you consider subscribing and coming to join my little corner of the sewing community here on YouTube. If you do enjoy this video, I hope you consider giving it a like button because that lets YouTube know that you like this kind of content, which helps your algorithm and mine. This is an episode of Hashtag Friday Sews, the wonderful hashtag started by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. That just allows us to get it together every week, talk about what we're working on and our plans, and just a little bit about life in there too, so that we can get to know each other that much better. Today's video is probably going to be a little extra choppy because I got a microphone. We're trying to level up the professionalism here, but I am probably going to stop it semi-frequently to check the quality of the audio and make sure I'm not doing weird stuff with the microphone that's making it mess up. So yeah, I will try to do it in like natural spots, but just if the editing seems extra choppy or if I kind of jump around in the frame, that's because I am moving the camera, my phone, around a lot. See, like I wonder if that probably did something. Let's check. Also, this video is going to be a bit of a longer one, so grab a beverage, a snack, whatever you want. I am going to put chapters down below. So if you're only interested in certain spots or if you're getting kind of bored by one of the pattern reviews, totally fine. Skip ahead to the next section. I'll give you chapters to make that easy. The reason it's going to be kind of long is because there are a few patterns that I want to talk about a little more in depth. Starting with Simplicity 9740. I talked about this last week because that's when I made most of it, but I want to talk about it a little more this week and do kind of a more full-up review on it. This is a Mimi G pattern, so it does have a sew-along on YouTube, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. It comes in sizes 4 through 20. I have the 12 through 20 packet. It's a Mrs. Knit dress in 2 lengths. Suggested fabrics are stretch knits only, such as double knit interlock jersey, lightweight ponte, and then for the interfacing, you needed lightweight fusible. The pick a knit rule does say 35% on it. I used a double knit ribbed double knit from fabricmartfabrics.com, which was an outstanding choice for it. It looks pretty similar to what Mimi G used in the sew along. I didn't watch the whole thing thoroughly. She probably mentioned exactly what she was using, but it looked pretty similar. So I used this navy blue ribbed double knit. Okay. Yeah. And this, I think, was an easy sew. It is rated as average, which I guess I agree with. We'll talk a little bit more about, I don't understand the rating system in a minute, but I would say, yeah, the most difficult part was putting the placket in, because plackets to me are kind of fiddly, but put the placket in, and then the collar, which I still need to fix because it's doing this rolling thing. But overall, it was really easy. The placket, I would say, was the most difficult thing. I didn't think it was that difficult though. And then the collar goes in really easily. The pattern pieces are like great, perfectly sized, and also it's stretchy, so it's a lot easier to ease things in if you need to. There's a center front seam and a center back seam. And obviously, not obviously, then the side seams. Yeah, it came together really, really quickly because it's only what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern pieces, really. So came together very easily, very quickly. There were not that many seams to sew. Like I said, the hardest part was the placket, but even that wasn't super difficult in my opinion. Let's talk about the sew along for a minute. So I pulled it up at one point when I was doing the placket, because I haven't done a placket. I've only done it once before and I haven't done it in a while, or a lapped placket like this, I believe is what it's called. I haven't done one in a hot minute, and I wanted to double check how I was doing the folding in and layering here with the little triangle that you make when you snip to the edges of the stay stitching, I think is what it was. Anyway, I wanted to double check visually how it was, because the picture and the instructions was not like super clear to me. And I pulled it up and I start watching it, and I've never watched a Mimi G sew along before. It goes really quickly, which a decent number of sew alongs I've watched do. You know, they're not going to show you every single second of sewing, but it was like bam, 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 and it didn't show me some of the parts that I wanted to know the most of like how she was folding things over and stuff. It was just kind of like, okay, now we're at this step. So it wasn't that much in terms of guidance, which I guess it's not there to teach you how to do it. It did give me what I wanted, which was the visual of how everything's folded in, which was all I needed from it. The other thing, or I guess the main thing that annoyed me, was the construction to me was very different in how she did it in the sew along versus how she did it or how it's listed in the instructions. And like, she is the designer, right? Yeah. So that I get that sew alongs will show you a different way to do it. And a lot of times it's a better way. Honestly, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can see what's going on. People can give you better ideas of how to do it. What annoys me about this is that it is the pattern designer, and the video was posted on Simplicity's YouTube. So like, if you're going to show me a better way to do it, a different way to do it in the video, like put that in the instructions. I need those to match. If it's coming from the company that is publishing the pattern, I need those two to match. Maybe I'm way off base. Let me know what you think about that. I don't mind if like Joe Schmo is doing their own sew along and is showing you an entirely different way to do it based on their sewing experience. But if you are advertising that you have a sew along for a tutorial for how to do it on your YouTube channel, I need it to match what the instructions are so that I can like hit a spot and be like, oh, I don't really know what they mean there. Let me go look it up, and not be met with entirely different directions. I hope that's not making a bunch of noise. Sorry. So that was kind of annoying to me because, so for the placket, they have you entirely install one. To me, how the picture looks to me is that it's already tucked inside that bottom section, and then it has you do the left, which I can see the benefits of. I mean, it definitely does, because look, there's a stitch line right there. So it wants you to entirely fold that over to the inside and everything and get that placket totally in place first before you even start doing stuff with the left one. I can see why both ways work. I can understand that in hindsight. When I was in the moment doing it, I was like, why are they having me tuck it in first? Anyway, I'm getting rambly about this because I'm not sure if I'm right to be annoyed. I think I am. Long story short, I think the advertised tutorial on the pattern packet should match the instructions that are printed in the packet. That's all. If we want to learn other ways to do it, we can look up other YouTubers that are out there. Anyway, that was my only complaint. And it wasn't even about the pattern or the dress. It was just an annoyance because I wanted help specifically with how they were showing me to do it, and they didn't offer that. Rant over. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so heated. Ooh. Other than that, great fabric to work with. Love the dress. I've worn it a couple times. Like I said, this is a me problem. So with the placket, they do have you stitch in the ditch, but then with the collar, they wanted it slip stitched. I stitched in the ditch, but what I did was I basically brought it too far over because I was paranoid about missing it. So I pulled it in too much, which then causes this to roll up and the seam is rolled. So I just need to unpick this and actually slip stitch it, which I will do at some point. Probably. Maybe. I don't notice it when I'm wearing it, obviously, because it's behind my neck, and I don't think that many people would notice it because it is such a dark fabric, but I would like to fix it and have it be properly done. The last thing I'm just going to go in is kind of exactly what I did. So I, like I said, used that double knit ribbed from Fabric Mart Fabrics. I did view A in a size 16, which I went off of the finished measurements because that is just kind of a better way to do it with commercial patterns. Because if I did not, I would have needed to do a size 18, probably, is what I would have put myself in. And I think it just would have been a little too oversized. This fits perfectly. And I am generally a size 16 in most big 4 commercial patterns. I had to cut it on the cross grain because the way this ribbing was like, this is where the selvage was. So thankfully I had enough to do that. The yardage was long enough that it was the full length of the dress. I did have to cut it on the cross grain, but it doesn't seem to be causing any issues in terms of like being too stretchy and drooping or anything, because there's not that much stretch to it. It doesn't really need that much stretch because it's loose fitting. And then what else did I say? Oh, the only thing I did differently was I started to grade out to a 1/4 inch seam allowance from 5/8 inch seam allowance. I graded it out starting at my natural waist and then kind of tapered it. So I graded it out, making a smaller seam allowance, and then brought it back into 5/8 at the hem. The reason I did that is when I tried it on, so I sewed it all with a 5/8 inch, and I tried it on, it was by no means tight. It wasn't even really like hugging my body, I would say. It was just when I moved, my hips hit the edge faster than I wanted them to, or hit the material faster than I wanted it to. I just wanted a little more wiggle room, and that 3/8 of an inch that I added to the seam allowance from here to about here gave that to me. And that's all. That is all she wrote, folks. It's a great dress. I will probably make it again in the future. It's super comfortable, super casual, but at the same time makes me feel more put together. Because of the collar. I talked about this in the 5 indie patterns I love but won't be buying video. Collars just make me feel like I need to have like slacks or a blazer on with them. But this one is casual enough that I don't feel that way. It's super relaxed. So that does it for our first pattern review. I think I had the most to say about that one because of the tutorial thing, but let's move on. The next pattern I'm going to talk about is Simplicity 9336. Was not even on my list of plans last Friday to make. Did I need to make it? No. But it was already cut. I cut it this summer when we were moving. So I decided to go ahead and make it for who knows why. But I made it up in this bullet Liverpool knit that I got from Hobby Lobby over the summer. I love the bullet texture to it. It was supposed to be a skirt. It was supposed to be View B, which is a skirt, but I tried it on before I put the waistband on. I put the shorts on and then put the skirt part over it, and it's just tight. It is not something I would actually wear out in public, to be honest. So I scrapped that and just made the shorts, since the shorts that go under it are the exact same as just their View A. I don't know why I felt the need to explain that weirdly. Their View A. Now I did do a size 14 because that's the biggest size in the packet. Like I said, I'm usually a size 16, but really I think even a size 16 would have felt too tight in the skirt, too tight to be a full outerwear garment for me. So I'm happy with the shorts. I'll wear these with an oversized t-shirt to lounge around or to go to the gym. I don't know if I'd work out in these. I guess I should try working out in them and see how they are. Maybe like a nothing where I sweat a lot, just some like weightlifting or something. Anyway, darts down the back, and then a nice thick waistband. The lesson learned here was that really I'm only going to be able to make the shorts out of this. Maybe as my daughter gets older, like older, she might want the skirt or the skirt. But for me, I think it's really only ever going to be View A. But that's fine. It works. They go really well under stuff so that I'm not flashing people. So that was a nice, easy, quick thing. And then the last thing I completed this week was McCall 7308. I have pictures and some video of it. I can't show it to you right now because Brady is wearing it and she is napping. I love this. It turned out so well. The zipper is, the pattern matching is almost One side is a little off. The other side is like bang on. The pattern matching in the back around the zipper turned out really well. The arms with the bodice turned out really well. The ruffle on the bottom, I paid attention to matching the red parts of the plaid. I did not pay attention to the gray parts. So that's kind of a note for next time, is like pay attention to the whole pattern, not the boldest part, not just the boldest part. But thankfully it's a ruffle and it's on the sides where they don't match up with the gray parts. So it's not a huge deal and it's not super noticeable. This is where I want to talk about their rating system of easiness. So this is an easy pattern, it says, which I agree with to the point of like, if you've already done the things that this requires, it's probably pretty easy. I thought it was pretty easy because I've done all of the things that it required of me. Also, it's a woven pattern, so that helps. Like, I used flannel, Eddie Bauer flannel from Joann's. Super stable, super easy to work with. Like, half the time when I needed to press something, I didn't even actually have to press it. I could just like rub it with my hand for a second because my body heat would make it stay in place. Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful to work with. So I will say, because it's a woven pattern, that made it really easy. But let me try and think of all of the skills it required. So putting a zipper in, there's a facing, so there is understitching, gathering. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe the list isn't as long as I thought. I thought there was more. Oh, an elastic casing because it has the little kind of bishop sleeves. So yeah, you're gathering up here at the sleeve head. You're pleating here. You're gathering the ruffle, obviously. You're doing the elastic casing. You have the facing that you understitch. And then, yeah, a zipper. So I don't know if I would call that easy. It is not marketed as a learn to sew, to be fair, in their defense. It is not marketed as a pattern that will teach you how to do those things. So like I said, it was easy because I already knew how to do those things, but I'm a little confused about how this pattern is an average and this one is an easy. Am I wrong? I don't know. I feel like I'm being so critical, but it's just little annoyances where I'm like, that to me is not consistent. I would say then this should also be average just because of the number of skills required, but maybe I'm being too harsh. Basically, I think this one, I guess average. It's what, like easy, average, intermediate, difficult, or hard? Is that their scale? So I guess average, because it's not technically easy because of the placket and the collar. But if they want to say a placket and a collar that fits perfectly, by the way, is average, then this should be average. That's all I'm saying. Okay, time to stop bashing on simplicities. Sorry, I really do like their patterns. I sew primarily commercial patterns from Simplicity, so I guess I should be nicer. But those are just some things I noticed when I was sewing this week. I started to edit and I remembered why I made those Simplicity shorts, because I was nervously sewing on Saturday and had to pause on the Harper cardigan after I cut it because I didn't have the stay tape yet. So I cut and sewed some pajamas for Brady. And the thread I used for these was a good enough match that I could do those shorts. I already had the Microtex needle. I had the right thread. So that's why I did the Simplicity shorts. It was bothering me that I couldn't remember. So I did make these. This is the Ellie and Mac Grow With Me pajama top. And then for the bottoms, I use a Berta pattern. Brady wears cloth diapers, so all the extra real estate here is kind of necessary. The Berta pattern I use for the pants is Berta 9312. I've used it a couple times. It is actually intended to be reversible, so there are two pieces. I've made it twice before that way. This time I just did one piece. I didn't make them reversible, and then made the casing at the top. And then I added the Grow With Me cuffs from the Ellie and Mac pants pattern, if that makes sense. So the Grow With Me pajamas, I used the top completely. And then this time I played around with using the cuffs for the pants in that pattern but attaching them to the Berta pants, and they fit. I'm doing a lot of chef's kiss in this video. They fit perfectly. So it gives us a little more longevity with these. So those turned out really well. She's indifferent to them. I think they're super cute. I showed them to her and she just went like, eh, and walked away. But what are you going to do? She's a toddler. Now I believe that is it. Unless I think of something else when I'm editing and have to hop back on here. In terms of plans, well, I already started my next thing. I already got started on one of these. This is Simplicity 9489. It's a set of adult bibs. It was a request from a family member. I talk about it a little more in my December sewing plans. So these are going to be a gift. I'm making 2 in view D and then 1 view F. So I kind of got freaked out about the whole terry cloth thing. Turns out I was having a bear of a time trying to find terry cloth in person. Hobby Lobby only had white. Joann's I couldn't find any at first, and then I went back at a different point after I had ordered some, and they did have navy, but it was in the nursery section, which kind of makes sense, but also doesn't. Like, you can use terry cloth for way more than just like burp rags or burp cloth. Anyway, I ended up ordering from Fabric Wholesale Direct, which had a little bit of a sale going on for Cyber Monday week or whatever, but I was annoyed that it was $8 shipping or something, so I didn't order it. And then by the time I made the decision to just order it, that sale was over, so I paid more than I would have if I had just done it. I went to Target and I looked at towels, and it was about $20 for a bath sheet, and the dimensions were about 1 yard by 2 yards. And I had just cut out the pattern pieces for it, and in my head, the pattern piece for this part, the bottom part of the bib, was like huge. It was massive. And I was like, oh my God, if I fold it in half, that's only 18 inches. Is that going to be enough? It would have been enough. But I was super worried about it. And I with some of these gifts I'm making, I've just felt so much pressure to do the best job ever. And so I decided that to do the best job ever, I just needed to order it from the Professional Fabric website. And I will say, it's fine terry cloth. Like, it's fine. But the medium priced towel at Target would have been a better option. And they had a nice gray that would have been great. Also, one of my viewers said Kohl's usually has really good sales. So I think I have regrets. I wish I would have just taken my time and been a little calmer. I didn't need to, this is an easy project. I didn't need to start it right this second. I still have time. I could have been a little more patient and looked into some more options. So I am kind of annoyed with myself because this is fine, but like, it's just fine. I think the towel I saw at Target and then one from Kohl's definitely maybe would have ended up being a little more expensive, but I also don't know why I'm trying to be so cheap about this. I am such a cheapskate internally, especially when it comes to sewing stuff. I guess I'm learning about myself. I'm like a super cheapskate about it, and it's a gift. Like, I shouldn't have been so worried about putting money into it because it's a gift for someone that I love very, very much, and I have the money to put into it. Anyway, so long story short, next time, and my suggestion to you is to probably just buy a nicer towel than buying terry cloth by the yard, or find a really nice terry cloth by the yard. This is just a very fine, very average terry cloth. Anyway, so I started putting it together. I only cut the black one out first because I knew it might be too big. It's one size, which on one hand makes sense because it's just something you wear over your clothes. But on the other hand, people vary so much in size. And this isn't like a blanket or something. You're going to wear it while you eat. And it is, I think I have a clip. Oh, I'm not going to put this over me because of the microphone. So I'll insert the clip of how big it is on me. Like, even on me, it kind of comes out to here. And the person I'm making it for is even like as tiny, is shorter and more narrow than I am. So what I decided to do is I'm going to bring it in about 1 inch on each side, which means I need to unpick this, and I'll probably just gather it more. I already did the side hem, I'll probably just gather it a little more rather than chopping it off and redoing the side hem. But I'm going to bring it in about 1 inch on each side, and I'll just grade it out probably from about here. It has this corner where it turns down, not really a corner, but it goes straight here from the curve, and I'll probably just kind of do the same thing but move it up here so it's a little more narrow. And it's also very long. I haven't hemmed the bottom yet because I knew I would want to take a look at the length, and it's made to be over, as you can see in this. Also, why are all of these people in wheelchairs? You can need a bib and not be in a wheelchair. Anyway, I know it's made to go over your lap too, but this is just kind of absurdly long. And like I said, the person I'm making it for is much shorter than me. So I'm going to take a look at the hem after I get this top part figured out. I used 2 fat quarters I had for the top. This is pretty black and white floral. But yeah, I should be able to finish that up in the next day or so and then get scooting on the second one, which will be out of this royal blue. I haven't picked out the cotton for the top yet, but I will. I did go ahead and cut my mom's Harper cardigan out, and then I went and got the stay tape for it. So I just need to get going on that. I'm like, with these gifts, like I said, I want to do the best job ever. So I'm really, really hesitating starting on this cardigan because I'm just so worried something's going to go wrong. And logically, if something does go wrong, which I'm so convinced is going to happen, then I should start it sooner so I have time to fix it. But am I doing that? No. Instead, I'm making shorts to go under dresses and stuff. I make it make sense. Anyway. Oh, I did go, when I went to go get that stay tape, I got this in the remnants bin. It's 0.9 yards of this beautiful velvet. It's the same stuff I used to make Brady's blueberry costume for Halloween, but in green. And I think it's going to be a super cute dress for her. So I want to get that made up. And then the other thing I got was some, I think it's a wool blend coating. It was in clearance and the bolts weren't like super well marked. They didn't have the sticker on the end anymore. But I got 2 colors. Adam doesn't watch these long videos, so I can actually show it. I got this raspberry for myself and then this brown for him because I mentioned in my plans I'm going to make him a shacket for Christmas. Do I have it out? No. You guys, I'm a mess. Simplicity 9338. I'm going to make the shacket for him, view B. I'll probably also make it for myself, view A, but not right now. My question is, how should I treat this? Like I said, it's a wool blend. I want to try and do a little more research on the Joann's website to see if they still have it listed at all, even though it's on clearance. I did a little bit of Googling and saw differing opinions. Some people said like always hand wash it. Some people said to wash it on delicate in the washer with like wool light, which I would need to go buy. It's a jacket, so we probably won't wear it a lot. We would probably just stain treat them or spot treat them as needed. But it's also a jacket, so we can't, like, we might end up in a situation where we're in the rain or something in it. Anyway, basically I need help. How do I get this ready to cut? That is my question. I really would like to get this done for him in time for Christmas. So I kind of want and need to get moving on it so I can do a nice job and not feel too rushed. That is it in terms of stuff I've been doing. I always say that like it's not a lot, but I've been in here a lot lately. I did all that sewing for the craft fair. Oh, I'll talk about that in life. Did all that sewing for the craft fair, and it just kind of got me on a roll of doing a lot in here. So I guess moving on to life. I don't know if you could hear it or not. I feel like when our voices are different, we hear it more than other people do, but I'm a little gravelly. I am getting sick, which is a big old bummer because my marathon is on Sunday. So I've been taking cough drops. I've been taking medicine. It's not too bad yet. Oh man, I just realized that's been in the frame the whole time. I'm trying to make this a more professional channel with the microphone and stuff, and I have my, anyway. So I'm also a little out of it. Yeah, so I am feeling a little under the weather. My throat's a little sore. I have a cough. I hope it just stays at, I guess, this level or slightly better until at least Sunday afternoon. That's all I want, because I've trained so hard for this marathon, and it's not like I'm trying to win it or anything. I'm just trying to finish it in the 6 hours that they give me. That is the cutoff time because they have to be able to reopen the road. But like, I'm really bummed. Adam said that he and Brady would follow me along the whole way, giving me cough drops and water if I need it the whole time, which was really sweet. Hopefully I don't. Hopefully I can get through. I do feel like my lungs are a little less capable right now, which is just like, you kind of want your lungs to be at like their best capacity, their best functioning for a marathon. But we can't have everything we want, can we? But that is about it in terms of life. That's my only plan for the weekend, is to hopefully run a marathon. I am doing Vlogmas in the form of shorts. If you have not seen those, I will put a link to the playlist that includes them. But I'm really enjoying. If you want to catch up, it's super easy because they're only a minute each. So you can kind of fly through them really quickly, way faster than you can watch this video, because I'm talking a lot and I have a lot to say, apparently. The last thing I want to chat about is the craft fair. So it was last Saturday and I was a nervous wreck. So my mom and my sister were doing it in Texas where they live. I live in Mississippi now, so I wasn't there. And they like sent me a picture when they set up, and I didn't hear anything. It was 9 to 3 and I didn't hear anything all day. So finally at like 3:30, I was like, you guys, I'm dying. How did it go? It went well. Another big bummer was that my box of Santa sacks and gift bags and wine bags and everything, it didn't make it in time. It got there Saturday at like 4:30. So after the fair had ended and everything. They ended up selling some bookmarks, some coasters. They made back the money that it cost to be there, which was, I think, $50. I think they made that plus some, which was our only real goal because we had not done one of these before. They learned a bunch about how to set up their booth next time, because we didn't expect anyone to buy a quilt because they're pretty expensive, but we were hoping to just pique interest, and a couple people did take cards, and then one person inquired about possibly doing a custom quilt. So if that happens, that could be cool. But yeah, they said they learned a lot and it was a fun experience. We're not trying to like earn a bunch of money or make this a full-time job or anything. It was basically just a reason to make some more stuff and share wonderful handmade items with other people. So we are meeting that goal currently. I put out a video on Wednesday with allegedly 9 last-minute gifts you can buy for sewists, basically things that you can like buy on your phone right now, hit pay, have some sort of voucher or something to give the person. Like, no waiting on shipping, no going to a store, nothing like that. They're all kind of intangible, or at least the gift of them is. I was starting to feel sick when I edited it, and I totally missed a number. So there are actually only 8 ideas in the video, but there's a 9th one in the description box. And then Grace from So Lovely with Grace also left a really good idea in the comments. So I pinned that comment so people can see it. Also, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I was starting to feel sick, but I wanted to get back to sewing so I could finish Brady's little flannel dress. I was not as diligent as I should have been. Oh well, we're here. There are 9 ideas if you also read the description box. I think that counts. That does it for today's video. Hopefully I can edit it in a somewhat coherent manner. That's always my hope with Friday Sews videos, because they go all over the place. But that's kind of the fun of it, right? Yeah. I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you get to do some holiday cheer stuff. If you are celebrating Hanukkah, I hope you're enjoying your celebrations. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.